Well, I think what we've got to do is we've got to show people the coast. And when you go out and look at the coast, then you know that this coast is not how it looked on the 6 o'clock news 3 months ago, where we were seeing those images of pelicans covered in oil and a few parts of the marsh that were covered in this thick, black, sticky stuff. You go out and you look at that coast, you fly across this coast, you have to know where that oil is to actually find it. If you want to go out in a boat with me tomorrow, then we've got to work out where we're going if we're going to actually go out and find some oil. The good news is that most of the coast is in great shape. There is some oil out there in very low concentrations. There are some places where there's a lot. But for the most part, we have come through in great shape, and we've been very lucky. I think we have to show people that. I think we have to show people what most of the coast is like, not just those small spots that featured on the news so much for so long. Those images have ingrained in people's mind, and clearly there were some serious effects. Some animals did die, and there was some bad oiling in some places. But the Louisiana coast is huge. It's huge, and the oiling areas is relatively small. So I think if we can get people to think about the coast as we know it is, not as they thought it was a few months ago, then we'll be in a better position. It's just as healthy and just as great a place as it was before. Coastal Louisiana is the delta of the 6th largest river in the world. And one of the great things about it is it's still largely natural. If you think about the other big rivers of the world, the big rivers in China, for instance, or the Ganges, Brahmaputra in Bangladesh, or even the Sacramento San Joaquin in California, they've largely been converted to agriculture. They once were great ecosystems, and now they're great agricultural systems. Ours is different. Ours is still a great natural ecosystem where we can have wild harvest of things and really take the bounty of that landscape and take it to market without overly cultivating or fertilizing or manipulating the landscape. We can have nature and seafood out of this system, and that's one of the great values that we have left here. We really are very lucky in that. This coast is not the same as it was 300 or 400 years ago. We've changed it. Yeah, we've changed it, but it's still very, very productive. It's still very, very bountiful. What we need to do in the future is manage it so that we can continue that bounty, so we can sustain that ecosystem into the future. If we don't do anything about the future of our coast, then that bounty may not survive.